So, hey guys, Chauzu here. So tomorrow the New Year Super Sugo Fest Part 1 drops. And together with Part 1 we're also getting another Sugo that you should probably not pull on. We'll see the full steps. Well, when I record this we don't have the steps, but we do have it now. But there is indeed a Sugo Fest as well for the 6+ Final Tap Law that debuted in like the 7th anniversary or something, so quite a while back. And yeah, he got quite a solid buff, so I'm going to do my deep dive on him now. And I imagine it will be a bit shorter than the others. There's not as much to talk about. It's not like he's transformed into a completely new unit here. But yeah, deep dive into his PvE kit. We'll look at some potential partners in PvE and then do a PvP breakdown, see if he's got any better. So yeah, Law is here. And yeah, we can't see any other units, but there's going to be other Super Sugos on this part. But yeah, let's check him out. So Law, he's still Dex Cerebral Slasher. So nothing has changed, still has a Final Tap, still has Super Type, still has Berry Pen. Real solid overall. Stats will obviously get higher though with the 6+, so that's pretty interesting. Especially since he's a decent stat support. But yeah. His captain ability, Dex Cerebral Slasher, 5.75 times attack when HP is full, which is easier now since, as you can see at the bottom of the text, he can now overheal. And for every perfect you hit, you get some extra healing. And he also makes Strength Quick slots matching for the entire crew. So that's nice, since that means Dex units, Dex, Strength, Quick all matching. Some favorable orbs are matching, for example, which is always useful. But there's not a lot of changes. I'm pretty sure everything is the same except for overheal and the fact that he has a bigger multiplier now, more modern. As a captain, he can also use his super type. And you need one of the Supernova or Corazon, which I'm pretty sure is new. And they actually added some utility to this, especially can reduce paralysis and attack down by 3 turns now. Exactly the same as the Corazon Law Legend, by the way. You can also do a 30% heal, which can overheal. And he also changes block slots to matching and locks them for 1 turn. So that has proven to be useful over the years in stuff like Grand Voyage Morgan, for example. So yeah, just better now, and it's possible that this extra utility will end up seeing use against one of the hardest Grand Voyages in Arlong. We'll see. I have some friends cooking with that. I have more focus on the absolutely new units, but hey, nobody will be happier than me if we got yet another new Arlong team. Maybe finally without requiring Nami. But that's for another day. Like, Law is dropping tomorrow, but we're going to have to collect skulls for him, and that's going to take a bit of while. Special, 20% HP cut, Dex Cerebral Slasher, 2.75 times attack boost for 2 turns. If Captain has a Dex or 1 orb, you apply increased damage taking status to all enemies by 1.75 times for 1 turn, ignoring full immunity. And even if you don't have that orb, it's a 1.5 times increased damage taken. So if Law is Captain and has a block orb, you will automatically get a Dex orb then when using the super. But otherwise, yeah, you get the Dex orb when using the special, but that won't be enough for the higher increased damage taken. Then again, the increase is so low that it doesn't really matter. What matters more is the new effect added to Law, which is if Frank Captain slot is 10 more recovery, which Law himself can't provide, important to note. So you have to set it up somehow. You can boost Dex character's super type effect for 1 turn, and boost damage dealt to affected types by 3 times for 1 turn. So basically all that does is that Dex units with super type, like Law's own, usually that's 2.5 times damage against call affinities against quick enemies, but with Law special here it's buffed to 3 times. So usually it's like 2 times, with super type it's 2.5 times, and then with this it becomes 3 times. So just a unique buff added to Law. And since he will mostly see use against super bosses, it's very useful that he has got yet another potential stackable buff to add to his repertoire, which will obviously make him more valuable long term. And he also changes his onslaught, including block 2 dex, which is unchanged from the past. He does have a final tab as well. Need to be high HP at final stage. And yeah, he has always had a weird final tab. First, I've honestly forgotten a bit about this one. Adds percentage damage worth of term set of enemy's HP on top of the final damage. So basically, if the enemy has 100% HP and you do no damage, you will do 20% damage. If the enemy has like 50% HP, you remove 20% of the 50%, so it's like 10% of the total HP. I think that makes sense. This has barely seen any use at all, and I doubt that will change. Sets all enemies' defense to 0 for 1 turn. Sadly, still not through full immunity. That would have been a great buff for him. And boosts character's damage dealt to death on enemies by 3.25 times for 1 turn. And I'm pretty sure that's buffed. So that's very nice. So yeah. Base stats, dex matching, also unchanged. So yeah, not that much has changed. He's just better at what he does. The biggest change is the utility, probably, and the higher numbers and stuff like that. Now for some potential partners. So I divided this into decks, Cerebral Striker, or Slasher I mean, but there will be some overlap. So basically for normal content, like what Law does is like attack boost, increased damage taken, potentially the super type thing, but we're not going to think about here, mainly the attack boost, increased damage taken since it's guaranteed. So one natural thing to add is ore boosters and potentially color affinity and such. And all of these does a great job at that. Like Nami, also helps with the paralysis that Law himself can remove. Has some ore manip, ore boost, color affinity. So yeah, pretty solid. Robin Koala is a legend I like a lot. He also gets some utility with them as captain. Barrier removal, the main thing is the 3-turn ore boost for Dex Cerebral Int. And you can also extend color affinity that they can provide themselves at 2.251. So yeah, solid option. I'm planning to use them later together with V2 Shanks, but I've been busy with other stuff like New Year's Subuko Fest getting announced. Then we have Blackbeard, also solid, since you can get chain boost. You can get tandem orbs, which can help with getting this extra effects for Law, and you get an ore boost you can carry over for another stage. Really solid unit in general, can even get color affinity. So that's like pretty much perfect together with Law. A very unused unit in Chauzu Manchery, which you can even get a super type with, but they also handle ore boost. It does attack boost as well, I guess. It's not like perfect, but it can be pretty interesting, and you have the option for super tandem. And then we have Yamato Law. I always feel bad putting them on anything, but yeah, they do an ore boost, and yeah, that's basically it. Like, they do a better increased damage taken, but yeah, who wants to stall for that? The super swap? But instead, you can just go for the normal one, and you get that 3 times ore boost instead. That's good enough, really. Anyway, now some int units. Hina is pretty fun with the ore block. She also does an ore boost, can do a base attack boost as well for Cerebral. Queen, easy to bring up since Law does increased damage taken. And if you put a support like Sora on Law, you will have an attack boost and an ore boost, and you just need to get a color affinity somewhere. And then Queen will do the increased damage taking conditional that goes along well with Law. Chopper can provide some color affinity and utility. You know what Robin does, she's cerebral, Law is as well. And Sabu is just one of the best units in the game, and he's also cerebral, so makes sense. Gives the chain boundary as well as utility. And finally, some slasher options. Carrot, always useful, also does an ore boost. Even really can do an ore boost, but he's mostly there for utility. Shank's Buggy works for Psi and Dex, so that's pretty versatile, does a big color affinity. You know what Roddy Whitebeard does. And Law, one Law, maybe gets a 6+, pretty soon will be nice. Feels weird that we're getting V5 Law 6+, but we don't have one for V3 Law, or V4 Law. It is what it is. But yeah, we're blasting through this. As said, there's not as much to talk about with this unit as the others, but let's end this by looking at Law's updated PvP skills. So he was pretty meta in the beginning, briefly, not for super long. There is paralysis, ability, they were always solid, his abilities. I honestly not checked the difference, I'm just going to give my take as it's written. Dex HP up level 7, attack up level 6, 70 seconds left, Dex teammates death up level 6, speed up level 5. So you basically give every buff to Dex, but some are with 30 seconds left or 70 seconds left, which is not a big deal, I'd say. The main problem has been the special with Law, very low CT at least. Targets himself for attack ×2 counter, and it has never felt like this counter does anything. It's not like Soros counter, for example, which can actually be game changing. One thing I'm pretty sure is new is that he can give counter to 3 other Dex types, which is cool. He does some decent damage within a large horizontal range, and even if it says large, when it says large horizontal, it's not really a big range at all. And he also does some healing. So honestly, I don't think this is going to change anything for Law. In PvP, it's the same as before mostly, and it hasn't been good enough. Even versing GP, basically unchanged here, and he was never good. Dex, quick, cerebral GP leader, and that's not good colors and classes to build around. The burst, you need to get a crit 8 times. Nothing in Law's kit increases crit rates, like it makes no sense. Like hitting 1 crit is RNG, you have to hit 8. And if you do that, you target 4 Dex type teammates for attack 2.5 times counter stance. And you target 4 enemies for leader base attack ×3 damage. So yeah, that's not even ignoring death, so it's completely useless. This Law got no buff in Grand Party. So overall, I'm looking forward to him. He's going to be viable, mostly Super Boss, maybe Grand Voyage Arlong. He's always been a nice sub to use from time to time in various content, since he can bring so much damage from one special. But yeah, the future will have to show for this one, I think. But yeah, that's the end of this video and all of my deep dives ahead of the New Year's Super Sugar Fest. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.